Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be building a double tank list for the Republic. I did finish painting my tanks just yesterday, and I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and put a double tank list together. Now, this probably isn't going to be the most competitive list out there. However, we're going to have some fun with it, and it'd be a great way to, justify the purchase of two tanks. Because I certainly had fun painting them, but did not have, the most fun trying to see how I can fit them into lists. So that's what we're going to do. Also, I had posted this picture up on Facebook, and a couple of people had asked me, how have I done the effect on the Phase 2 clone Z6? And I did the same thing on a regular Z6, but basically, these are just fluorescent rods from Green Stuff World, or they're called floor rods. And the same things that people use for lightsabers. I just clipped them to, alternating lengths and super glued them onto the end of the Z6 to kind of make it look like that whole Z6 fire. So I thought that was pretty cool. But let's go ahead and jump into the build. I'm going to be using Tabletop Admirals List Builder. And also put a link to the build in the description below. Also, a new round of the giveaway starts today. So if you are interested in winning a $25 Amazon gift card, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. So with the tanks, first thing we're going to do is we're going to add two tanks right away. And we're just going to take a look at how much that uses, because that's going to be half our list right away. It's not necessarily going to be an easy thing to do. Now we've got the twin laser turret. Okay, I mean that's a decent amount of dice, right? That's a good attack, but it's not exactly range 4, and I really want to stay at range 4. I'm gonna have two giant freaking honker tanks on the battlefield. I'm gonna have two ridiculous tanks, and I am not going to be able to justify, not being range 4. I'm not gonna be able to move all that much. So I need the range, and that beam is going to do it. Now it's 30 points, so it's just insane right away. And for pilots, I mean, a lot of these are cool, and I think I'm going to be playing around with all of them. But I think the veteran clone pilot's the best one. I almost said pirate. If I duplicate those, and I don't think I need to run any ordnance on here, not for this build, and I mean comms would be great, but I just don't think I'm gonna have the points for that. I'm gonna come back and do something else to these, but this is kind of my starting point, because I think we're gonna remove the veteran clone pilot. But we've got 414 points right there. Now if I get rid of the two clone pilots, that's exactly 400 points, and I think that's kind of where I end up. And I realize that I am kind of blocking some of this, so I'm gonna do a little more attention on the left side of the screen. So for core, now this is where it gets tricky. We definitely need at least 3. So if we just go with the basic 3, boom, 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 3 phase 1 clone troopers, and we add Rex, we're at 6 activations. We've got points, right? We could get up to a decent number of activations if we just wanted to spam troopers. We could almost get up to 9 activations with 6 core, almost, but not quite. So let's remove a couple of those. We're not going to do that anyway. I'm going to put R2-D2 in there to heal the tanks, because, hey, that's a cool idea. And he's a cheap activation. 35 points for a whole activation. Love it. Love it. And Rex is going to have aggressive tactics. Also, everybody's, of course, going to want to kill Rex. I don't ever run Rex without emergency stims, unless, of course, I'm running multiple commanders. But if I'm running Rex, I mean, you get that one pip. When you can get it off, everybody's going to try and kill you or move into melee with you. And so at least emergency stims, can help prevent them from killing you. It doesn't completely stop them from killing you, but it can definitely help. And I think that's kind of like a cheap, kind of bare bones Rex for me. When Rex is my only commander, I've got to use aggressive tactics. If you're running two commanders, I can see, some confusion about aggressive tactics, but with single commander, I think you've got to. So we've got Rex there with, at 112 points. And we've got our 3 clone troopers, we got R2, and we got our 2 tanks. So we're already up to 7 activations. So we could add some other things. And this is where the fun comes in. I'm going to stick with mostly core at this point. Phase 2s. I'm going to throw some phase 2s on there. And I wanted the phase 2s. I love the Z6, right? I got the new effect for the Z6, so I want some phase 2s. The training, I want them to be my standby clones. I want them to be my standby clones, so I am going to give them Overwatch. And there we go. And let's put the extra Phase 2 Clone Trooper on them. So I'm already over 800 points now. But I can drop one of the Phase 1 clones because I have my 3 core here. Now, if I go for personnel and I want the specialist and another Z6 here, that puts me up to 799. Now, here's where we're at. Now, I could certainly drop some of these heavy weapons or some of the personnel to make room for an extra activation. Look, 7 activations, I get it. 7 activations is risky. A lot of people are not going to want to run 7 activations. And this is basically the list. But here's what this does. It allows Rex's 2-pip to still be effective. Like these Phase 1 clones with the Z6 and the Phase 1 clone specialist can get a free aim on their activation, move and shoot with an aim at range 4 of the Z6, so it's almost range 5 for Z6, which is awesome. You can do it on the first turn, and it's tremendous. And Rex will already have an aim, because you can spend 2 aims. Now, granted, like for my last prime list, I was running clones with a little bit more upgrades. I think I gave them frag grenades also, and then binocs, so they could get extra dice per reroll. But I just don't have as many, So I got the basic Phase 1 clone trooper empty there to feed tokens to the other 2. So I've got 2 heavy hitters for and that's about standard. Like usually when you're running more clone troopers, you'll have maybe 2 or even 3 naked clones just to generate tokens, and then your others will be heavy hitters. You don't run all heavy hitters, so this is kind of a microcosm of that. R2 is the chance to get a victory point and to change the game a little bit, and then the 2 tanks. That beam cannon is going to help, and I think it's going to be really fun shooting around, just getting beyond where you normally could shoot when people are clustered together. I think is going to be beautiful. It's going to do things to droids. It's going to disrupt, if they're all together, it's going to chain a little bit. And of course, having 2 of them, you can chain twice, so you can really try to concentrate on maybe breaking the link of the chain. It's also going to do things to units that have standby, because even if somebody's hiding around a corner with standby, you get somebody else near them, and then you're triggering that beam turret. So you're really forcing people to spread out. I think that might make this list possibly playable because, it's going to be fun. So, and playable, maybe competitive. You could attempt it to be competitive beyond just being a fun list. But it really depends on how. I haven't really run them yet, and right now it's a little bit harder to go meet a bunch of people at a game store and get some casual Legion in. It's a little bit trickier right now, so it might be a little while until I can do this. All right, but let's talk about command cards, because we gotta do that. I kind of like R2's. The smoke screen, I think that's a kind of a cool one. But obviously, let me start off with Rex, because we're going to do all 3 of Rex's. So we're going to say, call me Captain. That one's huge. We're not programmed, of course. That's a great one. And you do have enough people to trigger this one too. So that much is good. And take that, Clankers. Maybe one of the best cards in the Republic right now. Absolutely love this card. And it's just gotten better and better as more releases have come out. So you're not going to be able to fully go completely crazy with Take That, Clankers, because you only have 1 clone unit that can have an aim token on it and move and shoot. And that's going to be those Phase 1s with the Specialist. The Phase 2s can do that if you swap Overwatch for Offensive Push. But I don't think I want to do that. I think I want them to be the standby folks. Either way would work, and you can certainly change that up if you'd like. But those are our 3 Rex cards, and it really boils down to, do we want to use the R2 cards? I can really see R2 in this case not using Blastoff, because if I want R2 to repair the tanks, then that's going to be a problem. But I'm going to include Blastoff anyway, just in case. Just in case, because it really boils down to looking at my opponent's list. They may have just a lot of anti-armor, and maybe I have to keep them behind, or maybe they have or maybe it comes out with something like we're much closer together, and everybody's deployed on one side. I'm like, well, I can actually totally have R2 do it, and plus with Rex, and we go with Rex's scouting party, R2 can get an extra move from that too. So like you actually have a pretty good chance of scoring with R2, especially if you run blast off. It's kind of it's practically essential though to try and score with R2. I mean, I don't see myself doing impromptu immolation though. I don't see R2 trying to attack at all with this list. He's either gonna A, like run like crazy, or B, stay back and heal the tanks. Right? Those are, I think, the two options for R2 in this. So I don't see him doing that. Push is gonna be way better. And then we've got assault or smoke screen, and like I think there is use for this one because it's +1 trooper, so you can actually issue orders out to other folks, and you can even in certain other things you can put comms relay on R2 himself, so then you can actually give out 2 orders, which is kind of cool. But at the same time, I could take assault and I could just give out 3 orders instead. So much rather go with assault here, because in this case I can issue orders to 2 tanks and somebody else of my choice, maybe Rex or maybe a unit that I want to potentially to fire support. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing here. We're going to go with assault for the third one. Also, generic command cards are really good for if you do lose Rex, because if I had all R2's stuff in there, I wouldn't be able to play some kind of generic card and get that much benefit out of it. So yeah, that's basically the list, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and that is about it. A little bit of a shorter video today, but it's kind of a simple build. It's not really a very complex build, but I will have a link to it in the description below. And that's all I've got for you guys. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Be sure to click that subscribe button, click the bell for alerts. Thanks to the patrons for your continued support, and I will see you guys later. Thank you so much, and as always, have a great day.